Okay, so patients tell us that they love it, but that's all very well, but they've actually got to take action for it to be of benefit to them, and I guess to make a good investment from the PCT's perspective. If you can read that from up the back, this is what actions the patient took upon reading their pack and receiving our call. I'll pick out a few. The ones I like there: 38% took more exercise. That wasn't our primary motive, but there's reassurance in the pack to tell them, to encourage them to go do that. Another one I like: 40% told friends and family more about their condition. So COPD can be very isolating, you can be very insular, but 40%, perhaps with this odd-looking Met Office booklet, sat around their home, went and discussed it with their carer, their neighbours or their friends, and understand more about their condition. Avoiding unnecessary trips outdoor during these peaks of cold or hot. Get your food in early, check your stocks of medication. Very simple, cheap or free measures that they can take to keep themselves well. Okay, again, probably a bit small for this auditorium, but we have evidence. We've been operating now for about 5 years, and to summarise that slide, the service has given an average of 20% reduction in hospital admissions across the PCTs that have used it. And this is what the patient thinks. Predominantly positive. I like the lady there that said the voice of the man who called was beautiful and very sexy. So yeah, that brightened her day and hopefully kept her safe as well. Okay, this is a slide where we surveyed all our patients. We left a bit of free space for them to report back what they actually thought of the service. It's anonymous, but we know it came from the Torquay area. I don't know whether it's a male or a female, what stage of the disease they're at, but a pretty emotional piece. And the underlying point there is that despite the fact it's just an automated telephone call and an information booklet, it helped them become more self-aware, it helped them feel somebody was looking after them at the right time. I get the impression also that perhaps they were looking after somebody else and not putting themselves first. So our phone call just reminded them to look after their own needs. Okay, I'll move quickly on to our more new service called Brighter Outlook for patients with SAD. Seasonal pattern of depression, of course, starts around September. It's concentrated in the months where we see less daylight. It's estimated that 1 in 50 people suffers from SAD within the UK, most common amongst a relatively young age group. Okay, our trial started in the southwest with Cornwall. They wanted to study the effects of CBT and light therapy, and basically what the Met Office offered them was a forecast of gloomy weather. We can do this on a postcode basis. We can do it on a village basis if they so desire. And then we used an algorithm monitoring solar radiation to give either a text message or a telephone call to the patients who chose to join up to warn them that 2 out of the next 3 days were going to be pretty gloomy, pretty overcast. They had a booklet that talked them through cognitive behaviour therapy. They had use of a light box. And our call triggered the point at which to take those methods on board. Each patient had 3 contact sessions with a mental health caseworker, and we monitored them with a patient health questionnaire both before and after. And these were the results. I hope you can see that at the back of the room, but basically the blue is before the patients used our service, and the green is afterwards. And it's subjective, I guess, patient response to how they felt both before and after receiving our service, and there's a marked improvement. Okay. I wouldn't be a weather girl if I didn't leave you with some impression of what the weather is going to do over the next few days and the weekend. I cut and paste this, admittedly, purely from our website yesterday, and we are prone to changing our minds, but I think this still stays true. If you're down here in the southeast over the next couple of days, you're probably in one of the better parts of the UK. It's going to be pretty typical May weather, about 13 degrees. You are at risk of a shower, and I've got my umbrella in my bag as we speak, but nothing out of the norm for the time of year, certainly down here in the southeast. Pretty much a continuing situation up until the weekend, and I'm afraid the weekend is not going to improve any, but as I say, pretty typical for May, so sorry about that, folks. Don't shoot the messenger. There's my contact details. I will be around for the next couple of hours. Please feel free to come up and talk to me, or I'll be around for the panel to take questions later. Thank you very much for your time.